So African Data is a community that I founded it's about 2 years old now. So
Oh, wow.
uh, yeah, it's about 2 years old. We're still growing. But it's really a
Yeah.
community where it's a network where I feel provides the avenue for people to be inspired by each other. Because I think one thing I sort of noticed is that at least for me, when I joined the industry, I didn't see a lot of senior leaders that were people of color in those high data science roles,
Mm.
right? In those top seats, be it like VPs and up. So I started to research. I'm like, where are these people, so that you don't feel like your dream of rising up the corporate ladder is far-fetched.
Mm.
Um, and a lot, I felt that too among my friends that were in data. They sort of say, okay, I'm the only person of color in my organization. There was this minority gap is what I sort of saw. And with that, there could be like this gap in knowledge in terms of networking. So I wanted to really bridge that.
Hi, everyone. I have here with me today Toyosi Bamidele, who is a data scientist at Visa. She is also the founder of Africans in Data Community. She has also been named by LinkedIn as a top data science voice. She is here to share with us how she transitioned into data science and also the motivation behind starting the Africans in Data Community. She's also going to be sharing with us how you also can become a member of this community and what you stand to gain if you become a member of this community. Is it going to be free? Are you going to be paying for it? She's going to be telling us all of that today. But of course, before we get into that, we also want to know who is Toyosi? What are the things that she has gone through in her career, even from childhood and all of that. So, guys, welcome with me Toyosi Bamidele. Hi, Toyosi.
Thanks so much, Okwe. I really appreciate it. That was a really great introduction, by the way.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, good. Yeah, thanks you. Thanks for joining this call. And really, you are really doing amazing work. You chatted with me I think it was sometimes last year, and
Last
you
year.
told me, yeah, last year you told me about this group that you just started. I forgot what number I was when I joined the group, but I don't think it was the group was many then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are doing amazing things, okay? But let us really know about you. A lot of people want to know you. A lot of people want to know how you transition because I was looking at your LinkedIn profile as well. I realized you didn't study data science, you didn't study programming in the beginning. But again, can you tell us about yourself, your
Sure.
past, your education, your elementary, where did you go to school, your high school, university, and what have you? Let's have a good background about you.
Sure. So actually, I grew up in Lagos, actually.
Wow.
So I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. I went to secondary school in Nigeria as well. Most of my courses were like science. I think I've always been like a science student. So was also some of my top topics in school. Following high school, secondary school, I went to the UK actually for a year it was like a gap year because my parents thought I was too young to go to university to take a gap year. And after that gap year, I proceeded to Penn State to study petroleum engineering.
Hmm.
And I was pretty young. I was like 16 going to 17. I think the only reason why I chose petroleum because that's probably what I was exposed to. My mom was in the oil and gas industry. Uh, so that's probably what incentivized me to sort of study petroleum and go towards that route. And it was I found it to be enjoyable. I did enjoy engineering, math, science, and I actually enjoyed working in the field. So
Hmm.
after my undergrad, I got a job at Halliburton as a field engineer.
Okay. That was in
Uh,
Nigeria,
no, that was here in the US.
in the
So
US. Okay.
the US. So I did that for about a year, but I was working like in a remote location. I did that for a year. I went back
And
to Nigeria.
was that more of petroleum engineering kind of thing you were doing at Halliburton?
Yeah, so actually it was more field work, so completions tools. So thinking of downhole hydraulic fracturing tools, so building those up, also going to the field, running them, understanding the pressure tests, being able to create those perforations for the client because we had like different clients. I think we had Chevron at the client. We had different service providers as well as different like national oil companies as well. But mainly it was basically just completions, hydraulic fracturing, and yeah, it was just in Pennsylvania, in the middle of nowhere. And I think after that, I moved back to Nigeria to do my NYC for a year.
Okay.
And actually I enjoyed my time in Nigeria. So after my NYC, I started working at Owando, which I think if I didn't hear about data science, I'll probably still be doing that because I had the opportunity to really go deep into engineering and drilling engineering and working on the field and always traveling, you know, opportunity to travel within Nigeria, because that's something that I was never really exposed to growing up, like living in Lagos. So I got to go to Niger Delta, I got to go to Benin, like places that I would spend like extensive amounts of time within those areas. It really exposed me. And it's actually one of the greatest like gifts I've had to see Nigeria in a different lens. As well as to continue to develop those skills, like engineering, you know, being on the field. That's something that I really wanted to do, like being on the field and learning. And I'm really like grateful for like all my mentors at that time. They really didn't hold me back because, you know, the terrain there can be really tough. It can also be really tough for a female as well. But I think about 2 years after I was working, I really wanted to, my parents and everybody was like, go do grad school. And I was like, okay, I think it's time. let me go back and get my graduate degree. And actually, I actually still wanted to continue in oil and gas because I actually applied for a master's in engineering to continue in petroleum engineering. But after my first year, in my master's program, I started hearing a lot about data science. And, you know, while I was on the
Where was that? Your master's?
It was in Texas Tech in Lubbock.
Okay, Lubbock, Texas Tech. Okay.
Yeah. So while I was doing my petroleum master's, I was hearing a lot about data science. And even while I was doing my applications, I ran across, while I was doing my master's in petroleum engineering master's, I actually ran across a master's in data science as well. I was like, I could apply for this, but I wasn't sure at the time. So what I did was the January after my first year, I applied for the master's in data science program. And I'm like, I'm just going to apply, you know. I'm like, if I get in, I get in, and I do both of the masters at the same time because I'm like, I don't want to leave one for the other. So I applied, I got in, and I was just like, okay, this is good. I guess I'm going to start this data science journey. So I took like a short little boot camp. And I think that's really where my data science, to prepare for the program, I took like a Udemy boot camp just so that I go into the program blind. Even though I had taken one programming course in undergrad, that was C++. But other than that, that was probably my only exposure to programming. And after that, yeah, that's really what sort of inspired me to go into the field, hearing a lot about it, hearing about how data was going to change, you know, and that's really what we're seeing today, how it's going to change the future for a lot of industries. So I'll say that's where my journey sort of kicked off for data.
Okay. So that means that in terms of you switching to data science, it wasn't really like somebody came to you and started talking to you about data science, but if you are being asked why did you switch to data science, so I guess what I'm hearing is that you were seeing all this hype about data science, you know, you are hearing about different things about data science, and you were like, if this thing is going to change the world, I better just jump into that right now. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, exactly. So just like, I mean, I knew that I hadn't done a lot of like the core machine learning, but I done analytics, right? I feel like in a lot of like your everyday roles that are not even data science, you do a lot of analytics work. So I was doing that on the field. I was doing that with monitoring operations. I was like, oh, I work with data already, right? This is just going to put like an extra layer, an extra stamp on me in terms of my education, as well as, you know, just getting a general understanding of the basics, the concepts. That's really something I wanted to learn as well. I didn't want to just go in with me self-studying. I wanted to go with a program that would say, okay, this girl is coming from a different background. You know, what else does she have to really showcase that she has a deep understanding?
So your master's program eventually it was now a combination of petroleum engineering and data science. Was that what you now graduated with, or you had to drop petroleum engineering?
No, I still continued my petroleum engineering masters because at that point my parents were like, okay, you have to do both because I'd already started one. So I had to do both. So I actually started so instead of graduating in the fall, I graduated in the summer. My parents were like, as long as you don't drop the engineering, like we're good because you already, paid for the first year, you've done it, you might as well just finish.
Mm.
So I think when I got my advisor in data science, the first thing I did was like, what courses can I transfer over between the two? There were only two courses that I could transfer between both programs. I'm like, the rest, I'm going to have to take a larger course load because like I think there was only one semester I took 15 credits, and that's pretty high for graduate school.
Mm.
Um, but the rest were probably like 12 credits overall just to finish up versus like a typical 9 credit course load. But that's eventually what I did. I probably didn't have a life and didn't have time. But that's exactly what that's what I had to do to graduate with both. And the last course was like my master's program, report program. I took that over the summer. So
Okay.
that's how I was able to sort of balance to still graduate within the time period, as well as, graduating with both.
With both. Wow, that's fantastic. That's the two major right here, petroleum engineering and data science. Okay. So and it was after that you got into visa. Was it after that?
No, actually, after that, I got into a regional bank here in Atlanta because I was in Texas,
Mhm.
and my first job right out of grad school was actually with Truist, which is called is the former SunTrust Bank. They had a merger between SunTrust and BB&T, and became Truist. So that was really my first foot in the door for data science.
Okay, okay, good. So, but why didn't you decide, since you have a domain experience in petroleum,
Mm.
so why didn't you go in there and be a data scientist in a
The
petroleum and gas
petroleum
company?
field. I get that a lot. So one, I mean, I came in as an international student.
Mm.
That's just one thing to know. So even within petroleum itself, it's always been very difficult getting a petroleum engineering role internship as an international student.
That's
And I had gone through that. I had gone through a lot of interviews as well with companies. I think I even interviewed with BP. I interviewed with several companies, but I just didn't get, my foot in the door with petroleum. And I didn't want to put myself in a position where, I'm put in the same industry where there's a huge downturn. And it's so funny because we're experiencing some layoffs within tech right now.
yeah.
Uh, but I didn't want to sort of put myself in a situation where it was only the oil and gas industry I could work in again. I didn't want to like pigeonhole myself.
Yeah.
So I think broadening, my sister worked in finance. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna explore finance companies. I'm gonna explore the big banks,
Mm.
consulting firms, and maybe that should be like my next move. And that's really what started my move into like banking and finance.
Okay, okay, okay. So then after that, you got into visa, right?
Yes. So yeah, I worked there for about 11 months and I got my visa. I was moving to Atlanta at the time. And I
Okay.
was like, okay, this is a good opportunity. Let me apply. It was a very new office. They actually didn't have an office at the time here in
Oh,
Atlanta. And I saw that they actually been consulting for Truist. So I'm like, what team is this? Let me, apply. So I applied. I got the offer, going through the interview process and got the offer. And that's really how I got into visa.
okay, very good, very good. So basically, in your case, you didn't have to go and learn something on your own, but you used the the program in your school to be able to help to make that transition, right?
Okay.
Yeah. What were the things that you think that you learned during your program? Because there are so many other people that they don't have that opportunity to be able to go back to school right now, but they still want to transition into data science. What were the things that you think you were taught? Because you didn't have a background in programming or in data science, right? But what are the things that you think that you were taught that actually made that possible?
It's so funny because I feel like I did not learn Python, which is like the major coding programming language. I had gone through the program, right? So my first course was called scripting languages, but I didn't think that was enough for
Mm.
me at that time. So even though I had taken there was like data science. I can't remember the name. It's called the data science boot camp or Udemy. I took that before the program to prepare for the program,
Mm.
but I realized that that still wasn't enough. I wish I could remember this lady's name, but she has a lot of courses on Udemy. So even after that scripting languages course in the summer, I went back and took another Udemy Python course um, during Christmas break because I figured there was a lot of gaps I needed to close. So I think that's really one. If you can go through a boot camp, you can go through a program, and you might still feel like you're not well equipped. You just at the end of the day, you have to take extra time out
Mm.
and really like say, oh, where are my gaps? How can I close them? So I really spent a lot of time learning Python, basic Python fundamental, because I feel like that's really the building block. Once you have that, then you can easily learn SQL, which is like another query language. And for me, I really enjoy machine learning, right? I enjoy the fact that we can predict, we can forecast, we can classify. So having that passion too is also important
Mm.
as well. But I'll say like taking extra time regardless of whether you do it on your own or you do it on a boot camp or in a program or certificate program, you have to take the extra time, especially if you're someone that needs that to really grasp things.
Okay, okay, good. So basically you are saying that you add your program, your data science program, but you did this scripting class, but you also knew that wasn't enough. So
Yeah.
I think what I'm getting here is that if you really want to cross into or transition into data science, don't just settle for, oh, I'm in a data science program, a master's program. Oh, they're going to be teaching me everything. Or maybe you have one Udemy course and you think that is all. So you are saying that even if you want to get into that learn data science, learn Python and SQL first.
Yeah, I think more than that. I think there's this thing called like the 10,000 hour rule, meaning if you do it enough, right? If you
Yeah.
expose yourself enough to it, it will start to come more natural to you. So I feel like it's more than the program, it's more than the course or the certificate.
Mm.
Um, you should do Python first if you want to go into more machine learning, data science. But let's say you want to do analytics, SQL might be fine. But I feel like it's that constant exposure, having the excitement to build things, to learn things, is ultimately what's going to help like propel you. So I feel like people just keep, as long as you're intentional about putting in the hours, and when you don't understand something, reach out. I
Mm.
had a lot of friends in data at the time too, a lot of petroleum friends that were transitioning to data. And I always ask questions like, how do you understand this? What resources are you using? Who are you sort of watching on YouTube or who are you searching online? And they would share that with me.
Mm.
And I think that helped. But that concentrated time of being intentional about learning something new. It's hard. It's
Mm.
very hard, honestly, if you don't know something. But I think with time, you sort of get a hang of it.
Okay, good. So I think what I got from there right there is that a tip that you just gave us right there is that transitioning into data science, don't do it alone. Have some
Mhm.
friends, probably those that you guys are starting together, and also those that are ahead of you, so that you can always reach out to them, and they can probably be your accountability partner, right? I think that's what I'm hearing right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I had a lot of friends. So in my petroleum program, we had people in my petroleum program, people in the geology program that were friends outside of data science, right? And I
Mm.
was like, hey, I'm applying for this program. My friend went to apply too, and she got in. So three of us applied, but only two of us got in. And that my other friend, she's in a different field today, but you can like just surrounding yourself with people. I had other friends too that were in the petroleum program that I had even applied and I had no idea they applied. I found out, on the first day we started the program together.
Yeah.
But really I think maybe when we get to Africans and data, that's really what inspired me because when you surround yourself with people that are
Mm.
really intentional about growth,
Yeah.
and really intentional about their career and really, so being intentional about success and wanting to do well and just
Mm.
being able to learn, it really helps you, make the journey a lot easier. So I feel like having my friends, having people around me, the support, made it really easy.
Easy. Okay. So a question for you right here, Toyosi, is that, so what challenges would you say you actually faced during the time of transitioning? Because I know it's even I faced some challenges, right? And I know a lot of people now, they start, or some never started, while some started and then they stopped along the way. And some wants to pick it up back right now. So what challenges would you say that you faced, and how were you able to, what were the things that you did to help you to, overcome those challenges, to be able to eventually transition? Because you could as well have started the data science and stopped along the way. That you didn't stop, but you forged ahead. What helped you?
I would say one, and this probably is outside of me. So the first one is probably like my family. So I think I have a very strong support system, meaning people that are really, really intentional about my growth, people that want to see me succeed. Not everyone has that. So what I typically tell people is find yourself your own tribe of people that are supportive towards your goals. Well, so that when you're having a bad day, you know who to call, you know who to talk to, because learning something new, like I said, is not easy. It takes a lot of being intentional, being focused, and having somebody pick you up if if you're having that bad day. Let's say you fail a test or you fail an exam, or you don't do well on a coding interview round. You have someone to still tell you that to put things in perspective for you, instead of saying, "Whoa, it's me, da da da." Okay, what can we do? How can we improve? What can we do better next time? Those are the sort of conversations you can have, that people around you that are really for you would sort of push you towards. So I'll say that, surround yourself or find your tribe of people that can really help. I'll say one, you just have to have, secondly, I'll say you have to have that inner drive. You have to have that drive within you where you're like, no matter what, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to learn this thing. I'm going to break into data. I'm going to transition. So having that inner drive, that inner voice would, propel you to want to, learn and pick up another course, learn another thing, learn the course through another, method. Maybe, you take a Udemy course or you take a YouTube video. There's so many YouTube videos I watched. So even while I was working, so you can imagine, you just have to keep that intentionality in mind. So I'll say support your inner drive. And I say what else? In terms of challenges, I know job market is pretty tough right now to a lot of people. And I know that I did not find my data science, my first role with Truist was not actually through like online or anything. So I always tell people, just put yourself expose yourself to so many environments as much as possible. So I can tell a quick story of how I got my job at Truist. So that time Clubhouse was really big. I think it was Clubhouse, this like voice app.
Yeah, I remember
And
Clubhouse, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I really want to get on this app. That time there was a wait list. So I'm like, I really want to get on this app. How can I get on this app? I want to see what it's all about. So that made me, because I'm always very curious. So my curiosity is like, that time I'm like, there's a wait list, somebody has to refer you. So I think I saw that a college friend of mine that hadn't spoken to me in years could refer me. So I messaged her on Twitter. I was like, hey, refer me. I've been waiting on the wait list forever. Eventually she referred me. I got in. And I just started really going into the different career rooms, as listening, being intentional about the conversations that were going on. And there was a lady that was speaking. I said, oh, that she runs this Black women's she has like a Slack channel where she shows a lot of resources for Black women that want to break into tech. And I'm like, that's me. Let me reach let me reach out to her. So I sent her a message on Twitter and I was like, hey, can you please share your Slack channel for your minority group? I would love to join. And I joined, you know. And another thing, nothing is too small. Like don't say because it's not a big name brand, it's not a big company, then you just ignore it, right? You can always start small, and that could be like your sort of your offshoot point.
Yeah.
So I remember when I applied to Truist, it was actually something called the Data Science Accelerator Program. I was like, let me just apply. I'm looking for an opportunity, right? So I applied, I forgot about it. I didn't even remember. Then about 2 weeks later, I wake up and I see an email that we scheduled for an interview. I'm like,
wow.
When did I read? When did I schedule? When did I apply to this company? So then I started preparing for interviews. I started reading, and I'd actually been prepping for interviews prior, because I had been getting a lot of interviews at the time. but I totally forgot. I didn't think about it. I'm like, I started to research. I'm like, I don't really know this bank, you know.
Mm.
Then I found out they were SunTrust, they were merging BB&T. I'm like, okay, let me give it a shot. So I
Yeah.
did the first couple of rounds. So I think what I'm trying to get at is don't overlook where you are. Always reach out to people, always put yourself in different environments, things that, you have no idea where your next opportunity can come from. So always expose yourself as much. I think that's one thing I typically like to do. There's something new, there's a new technology, there's a new space. I want to know about it. I want to learn about it. And don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like they are there because they want to help you. So when you see somebody on the stage or somewhere, ask questions. So I'll say those three: family support, your inner drive, and always be open to like exposure.
Mm. Family support, inner drive, open to exposure. Wow. Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing all these tips with us. I'm sure
Yeah.
your viewers, right, our viewers right here, they are already learning one or two things right now. So very good. So I see all this amazing work that you are doing in the data space, Africans in data community. Something must have motivated you to start this this community, this platform or this online platform, if I will call it that. Can you actually tell us what is this community all about, and what motivated you to 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 start this program?
Yeah, of course. So African Data is a community that I founded it's about 2 years old now. So
Oh wow.
uh yeah, it's about 2 years old. We're still growing. But it's really a
Yeah.
community where it's a network where I feel provides the avenue for people to be inspired by each other. Because I think one thing I sort of noticed is that at least for me, when I joined the industry, I didn't see a lot of senior leaders that were people of color in those high data science roles,
Mm,
right? In those top seats, be it like VPs and up. So I started to research. I'm like, where are these people, so that you don't feel like your dream of rising up the corporate ladder is far-fetched.
mm,
Um, and a lot, I felt that too among my friends that were in data. They sort of say, okay, I'm the only person of color in my organization. There was this minority gap is what I sort of saw. And with that, there could be like this gap in knowledge in terms of networking. So I wanted to really bridge that where I could bring even people that are just rising up with their careers and sort of bring them forward to meet people that are actually senior, that did it on their own, that
mm,
did it without having a community, that did it, but they have a lot of knowledge, wisdom in terms of how they navigated their careers, in terms of technical skills that are making them who they are today, so that we don't have to go through, the sort of staircase way. We could just take the elevator up. So that's sort of how I saw it. That community where knowledge is really power. There's a lot of exposure in terms of the technical knowledge, how to go about different conversations, maybe with your manager, or even the technical skills, AI, where you should position yourself going forward in the future. So I
mm,
really saw it as that network where it can close the gap between new entrants as well as people that are more senior in data.
mm, mm. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. So what number how many members do you have right now? Do you have like an average, like how many members
Yeah,
would you say you have right now in the
we
community?
have 130 members.
Around 30
Yeah,
members.
currently that's the number we have.
Right, right, right. And that's really growing, that's really growing. Knowing that people of color, you've been able to assemble, all these guys right there. Okay. So as you know, there are so many data professionals out there, right? We have so many that wants to transition into into data. So what are you expecting if folks wants to, because I'm sure definitely you started this community so that you can be able to bring, like you rightly say right now, you want to bring people together, and people that want to start out, they'll be able to get maybe mentors and stuff like that. So what would you say they will stand to really gain, aside from the fact that they have mentors or they have people that are already in that space? if I, as a newbie in data world, if I join right now, aside from the fact that I know you already have maybe like 3, 4, 5 years of experience, what are the other things that you think I will stand to gain if I decide to join?
All right, great. I think one thing, network. So your network is your net worth. I always say that to people.
Mm.
When you're looking for an opportunity, you don't know where it's going to come from. So I think within African data, one thing I always tell people is if you're looking for a job, we have like something called like an opportunity matching form. So you could easily fill that, right?
Okay.
Either people are looking for jobs or people that want to actually hire fill it at the same time. So that way we know how to help people. Because
Oh,
I feel
you
like it's
you have that in you have a particular form that people are going to fill.
yes, exactly.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's we have like the Slack channel board where people post like, hey, I'm looking for a new role, or
Oh,
hey, I
nice.
want to hire, like I have a friend that's always posting, Emmanuel. He's always posting on that channel, whether he wants to hire for a senior data scientist position. He also has his own startup as well, where he does a lot of consulting
Yeah,
work.
I
So
saw I think I saw something recently that I think it's that same Emmanuel that posted
yeah,
that there is a job in Dallas.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
So like typically something that we want to continually grow because we want to create those opportunities that you will not see out there. Because a lot of people are applying on LinkedIn, Indeed, they're not really getting um the feedback that they want. Maybe they are going through the process or they're not even finding those opportunities. So maybe within our community, who can refer somebody? I've done so many referrals for people within the community. I've actually gotten jobs within Visa as well. So there's
Wow.
a lot of opportunities in terms of referrals, in terms of interview prep as well. There are a lot of people that have personally tried to coach them for interviews, be it in my organization, outside of my organization, for how they can sort of manage the interview process for data science.
Mm.
I think another thing, like I said, networking, even as you rise up your career, you need to find out, okay, what's my next move? Who do I know? You have that network here. You can just send a message across the group and somebody will respond. Even if it's not anybody, I will respond.
Mhm.
I think another thing is, like I said, bridging that gap. I feel like in terms of career development and navigating your career, it takes more than technical skills. And I think one thing I was really intentional about incorporating African data is career development speaker series, where these speakers will come and share their knowledge in terms of how to navigate tough conversations, how to navigate your career conversations with your manager, or how to get through politics. So I really wanted that. I really wanted people to have exposure to that so they don't go into an organization and then they're like, oh, I thought my technical chops was going to get. No, it's not going to get you. It's not going to get you to your next promotion, honestly. It might not even get you to your next role. So you really need to know how to navigate the corporate world. So I think that's another thing that was really intentional about bringing into African data, in terms of having those senior leaders speak about how they navigated the corporate world, how they're rising up through the ranks, how they had, sponsors or mentors within organizations. Um, Also how they were able to work on high value projects and get exposure and visibility. So it's not just about yes, there's career there in terms of where can you find your next role, or networking, finding people as you grow, people that you can network with, mentorship as well, and navigating the job place itself. That takes another skill set entirely. So I think all those is really what I wanted to bring into the community. I think one thing that I'm still trying to work on is, people that are in school, people that are coming out of school, how can we bring them into projects or hackathons, so they can work on
Nice.
really new technologies, AI, there's open AI, there's so many things. When I was in school, it was computer vision, deep learning. Now there's ChatGPT, people are building AI chatbots. So like bringing something to also students so they have something tangible on their resumes. So
Yeah.
they are going to the market, not thinking that, oh, I know we had a speaker, Mr. Bayo, last week, and he spoke about your Jupyter notebook is not going to cut it, like in the job market. It's not going to cut it. Like you need, to build some sort of UI interface. So all
Mhm.
those things are things that people sort of stand to benefit. The conversations, the network, as well as, like I said, things that are still in the works in terms of like education and
Mm.
training and workshops overall.
Good, good, good. No, nice. This is really great. So one thing that I wanted to touch base on is I wanted you to touch on is I've seen, because I'm part of the team, right? You invited me. Thank you for that. And I've seen that you had, there was a time you had a guy that came in for that was building an app, I think a recommended system app,
Okay.
right? Can you talk about this type of programs that you
Mm,
do that also involves you bringing people? By the way, guys, she has also invited me to come and talk about Airflow project as
yes.
well. So we are already talking about how we are going to be doing that.
Do
Yeah, but that's one thing I wanted you to talk about so that people really know that it's not about only networking, which is number one, right? You have networking, you want to know how to climb that ladder. But there are some people also that are not strong in tech, they are not strong technically yet, but they want to be strong. And you want to be having you are also inviting people that can, do some technical
sharing.
projects and all of that. Can you talk about that and some of the ones that you've also done in the past?
Yes. Sure. So like I think that goes to knowledge sharing. So within the community, actually, I've actually shared. So we actually have some coming up in, I believe, April and May. So one is on like Dr. Containerization. So it's more DE work. But I'll say more generally, I sort of solicit people within the community for knowledge sharing because I'm thinking within this community, we have a lot of people that are technically strong that can bring their knowledge, right? So I have people sign up based on different months to pick. They can pick like their slot and sort of present. But I'll say the holiday recommendation one was actually me that presented that.
Oh, it was you.
It
Okay.
was because at that time I was excited about OpenAI. I had just finished my so apart from actually, so even on the job, I had taken this machine learning and engineering bootcamp with ThoughtBrain. It's actually an Andrew Young
And
program. Yeah, so I had taken that and I had learned a lot about building web apps, building web apps with Streamlit and, connecting that to the OpenAI API. So I'm like, oh my God, people need to know how to do this. Because even at that time, my organization hadn't even gotten like an OpenAI instance at that time. So it was very new. And so I'm like, okay, people need to know this so that when you go in, and it was really helpful because I actually just finished a hackathon within Visa. And because of my knowledge of like OpenAI and chatbots and Streamlit, it really quickened at least my team in terms of closing the gap. So we're able to build very quickly and create that MVP very quickly. So you can see how the knowledge sort of transfers. So when I learned it in the machine learning program, I really wanted to bring it to the community. And I'm like, okay, I need to find some public data to really show this. So I built the holiday recommendation app, like you said.
yeah.
So that was just using Airbnb listings. I just wanted people to be able to type in, oh, I want to travel to France and I just looking for an accommodation near the airport and it should just return, some sample accommodations, right? So basically it calls the OpenAI API, but you're actually putting context with it, right? So you use your data as context optimization for the OpenAI API. And that's what makes the recommendations more human-like as well as close to what you want. So I'll say things like that. So one, you gain a lot of technical skills of Python, GitHub, I think those are things you need. So because I feel like when you're in school, you really don't get to do these things.
Yeah.
So creating a GitHub account,
Yeah.
deploying to cloud on AWS, deploying the app to cloud,
Yeah.
all those things you might not be exposed to it within a program.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things that I would say that African data sort of offers, right? You have the opportunity to attend these sessions, learn something new. You might even be the one in your organization that brings it forward. Because like I said, at that time we hadn't gotten the instance. So it was just like, I'm just learning this. But once we got the instance, it got me excited at work and, was able to move quickly.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know you were the one that took that class. Yeah, because I saw the email. Yeah, I couldn't attend. Yeah, I think I was going to attend. Then I think I chatted you up that day that I won't be able to attend. Something came up. I think
Yeah.
what was that? I think I was about to, my wife was going to give birth. Then I forgot what
Yes, you told me because I messaged you about the
Yeah.
airflow class, and you were like, "Oh, we have to postpone it because you just had a baby," and I was like, "Oh my God, congratulations!"
Yeah.
And yeah, let's reschedule. So I remember that.
Yeah. Awesome. No, this is amazing. And really, really, you are doing amazing, bringing people together, because I remembered that I also posted on the Slack channel that I was trying to look for people or somebody that understands data observability, that how are they building their data observability within their company. I remember I posted that on the Slack channel, and immediately you responded, and then you tagged some, I think it was Timmy. You tagged Timmy.
Yes,
Yes. And then Timmy responded to me. Yeah. Although eventually we still didn't meet because I'd already gotten what I
what you need.
wanted. Yeah. But what I wanted to say is that I think that was really helpful, knowing that when I need something, right, I know where to go. I know a Slack channel that I can just go, and then I can say, oh, please, who has this, who has that, or does somebody has an idea of so and so thing, knowing well
Right.
that there are so many people that knows what I don't know, then I can tap from them. I think that is really, really good. And you founding this company, or maybe you are not registered yet, I don't know, but
Company, community.
founding this community, right? I think it's
Yeah.
really a very great idea, which I think we need to let more people know about it so that we can help more people out there and we can impact lives, positively. So quickly, does this community have a website yet?
Yeah, we do. We actually just launched our website last
Oh,
weekend.
oh, really?
Yes.
Do you want to
It's
share
so
your screen and just go there for
Oh, sure. Yeah. We actually just launched this weekend. And
now?
that's because let me open it on it was actually supposed to go out in this month's March newsletter that we launched our community just so that people know, we have a website now that they can share rather than the Google Forms that we've been typically using.
Nice, nice.
What is Zoom? Let me share my screen.
Yes, please do.
We really worked hard at this.
I'm really
We
happy
really
to hear that.
like yeah, we really worked out hard at this. So can you
Nice.
see my screen?
Yes, I can see it. Nice.
Okay, so this is the website. It's africansinData.com, and it just shows the offerings that we have, how, what you gain to get, joining our network, exploring the membership that we have, talking about our mission. We want to really empower people, the professionals that African data,
Yeah.
mentorship, resources, career advancement, what our vision is, what our 5 pillars are, for anywhere from excellence to empowerment, and how to join the community. So you could just click on the join now. It's just a form, and you fill out that form,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
you can easily just put in your information, our network, a little bit about me as well, the founder.
Nice. Nice.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can also explore the other tabs as well. If you just want to go directly to the forms, that's also, one way to go about it. But yeah, we launched this week. It's still going to go in our newsletter this
Nice.
month, but
Nice.
just for you to get an idea of where we are.
Good. So folks just need to go to africansindata.com. Is it out? Is it out on the internet yet for other folks to?
Yes, it's actually out. It's out on the internet now.
Very good, very good. And I think looking at this right now, I also have a non-profit that I reached, but I still need to do more on it, but I've not had, enough time. But I've just been doing some few things in the background. It's called Accelerate Future Minds.
Oh,
Accelerate
wow.
Future
Okay.
Minds, yeah. And it's also to empower Blacks, in tech, to be able to, help more folks that wants to transition in tech. I think it might be good for us eventually as time goes by to
Yes.
partner and see
And
what we
collaborate
can do
with.
together. Yes, because as part of that, I'm also looking at how we can help young ones, high school kids, to be
Oh,
able
wow.
to, yes. And that's why we named it Accelerate Future Minds. Those are the future minds. So, and I think what you have right here will really go along with that. I think we can partner sometimes to come as I, get more time to spend into that
Of
program.
course.
Yeah. Yeah. But this
Yes,
is
please.
good. This
Yeah.
is good. This is good to hear.
Let me
So,
also, I'll just take
so
let me
this,
find it.
what did you say?
No, I wanted to paste the link in the chat so that I don't forget.
Yes, I think I see that. So what I'm going to do is, so guys, if you can click on the link below in the description, we are going to be pasting that right there. So just go to the description of this video, and then you're going to see the link to that website. So go right to that website and explore the website and see the mission and the vision of this community or of this organization, okay? Because as you're thinking about transitioning, I think this is really important. Or even if you are already in the data space, this is really important. So a question for you is that, can non-Africans also join this community? Or are you just want to kick every other person out except Black?
Oh no, non-Africans can actually join. Some of my friends are not African, African data. So it's a community that really helps you close the gap overall, right? So even though, like I would say, it really started off with Africans, we have people that are from the Caribbean, even people from Russia on the community as well. So as long as you feel like you need a space for networking, you need a space to get to know people, for your career advancement, for technical knowledge, it's really a space for you. If you feel like you're not getting that anywhere else, please join, please apply, and yeah.
Very good, very good. And I know you and I talked about this. So in terms of people applying, we created a Google Sheet, right? Where
Yes.
people, they just need to fill in their name. I'm going to share my screen real quick. We have
Yes.
a Google Sheet for you guys to, if you are interested in joining, as you've heard about, all these awesome things that the group is going to be, doing right here. Let me share my screen real quick. Awesome. So guys, you can see that we are going to be sharing the link to this Google Sheets in the description of this video. So go right to the description of this video. You're going to be seeing the link to this Google Sheet. So if you are really interested, you want to enjoy the benefits of this program, okay, go right now. Just put in your first name. We are not collecting a lot of information from you. I have your first name right there. Just put in your last name, put in your email address, and your LinkedIn profile link, okay? And that is as well needed, just to be able to know who you are and all of that. And so if they submit all this form, what do you intend to do with this?
Oh yeah, so typically once they submit that, I'll probably just go through their LinkedIn profile, verify that they're all good to go. It doesn't mean that you're in a data background. We have people that are in other fields as well, project managers, or people that are actually in project management, that are trying to transition. So don't feel like, oh, if I'm not in data, I can't get in. Once you apply to the form and put your link, and we've just verified that you're who you say you are, we'll go ahead and add you to the group.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So guys, go right now, go to the description page right now, the description part of this video, and click on this link so that you can fill this form, so that you can be registered, so that you can be brought in into the team. And I think you are going to send them some Slack link,
Okay.
right? Invite.
Yes, so once we get that, you get the Slack notification. You also get our newsletter, because that's something that we started doing recently. Our newsletter welcome as well. And yeah, you know that you're in.
Awesome, awesome. Very good, guys. And guys, make sure you also click on the website link so that you can better know what this awesome group or this community is doing. I cannot wait to see what this group is going to become in the next 5 years. I'm telling you guys, I cannot wait to see what it's going to become. I'm glad that I know this lady right here. I'm glad that I know this lady. Honestly, honestly. So now, before we round up this session, can you quickly tell us the plans that you have for this community for the rest of this year?
Oh, wow. I think one thing we're really prioritizing is growth. We really want to grow, have more members in terms of, data fields. Even I think we have a very small population of students. So one thing we're trying to do is broaden that out a little bit, maybe get people more in grad school that are trying to transition. The job market is really, really tough at this point. So getting people there. the mentorship. So something that I recently just brought forward, which will come out on next newsletter, is mentor hour. So I just want to pick an hour a month where people can really come in, and we have those graduate students being paired up with somebody in the industry, and they can sort of help them navigate tough conversation like career, like my resume. I'm not getting good interview feedback, so they feel like they're not alone, or even just interview prep, mock interviews. So that's something that's in the works going forward. Additionally, with I said with the growth, something that we really want to start off is a virtual conference, because we probably need a larger number for an in-person conference, but we're trying to see, okay, let's start off with a virtual conference towards the end of the year. So that's something that I'm also working towards, as well as trying to get us to grow. The technical sessions too, we have like a few coming up in the next quarter as well. And we have a lot of exciting speaker series, not just on, career. We have a lot of immigration series coming up too, because we also have a large population of international students. We don't want you to feel like, oh, I have the technical knowledge, and then when it's time to get into the job market or even sort of transition in terms of immigration, you're running into issues. So all those different pillars where it sort of comes together and you're ready, you've come to the US, you have your knowledge, you're here, you can continue to work and thrive. You have your network, you have your community of people. So I think it's that well-rounded view that I'm sort of trying to push forward this year.
Very good, very good. I think that is awesome. That is well packed. That is well packed. No, thank you. Thank you for that. So what other advice do you just, have for people? What advice do you have for my audience right here?
I think I would say overall, whatever dream you have for yourself, don't give up. You're gonna have tough days. You're gonna have days where you call those your people to support you, and everybody's busy. So you really have to find that inner resolve and inner strength to keep going. I remember when I was preparing, I was learning Python, doing that Python bootcamp over the holiday in December. Everybody was doing Christmas. Everybody was having a good time. I was learning Python. So don't be afraid to sacrifice some of your time too, because the rewards will come. So don't be afraid to sacrifice your time. It's okay if you feel like you're in a season of isolation, as long as you're working towards your dreams. So I'll say that just keep your head down, whatever you want will come eventually.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Just to quickly, round this up, you mentioned that folks that are Scrum Masters, project managers, program managers, product owners, I think you mentioned something in that line. They could also join this community, right?
Yes. So because of, this whole boom of AI, there's, individuals within these fields, that's AI product development, Scrum Master, project managers. We're going to see this big boom in terms of managing those projects or pushing those products to life. So I really want people within those roles, or even people that are looking to get those roles, to start joining the community. So we have a well-rounded view in terms of not just technical people in those data science roles, but people that are actually creating these products, pushing these products within organizations. I know AI is being infused in everything. It's what I hear every day at work. So we really want people to also come in and see what's happening in the industry.
No, that is very good. Fantastic. One more thing. So if folks go on your website right now, are they able to see the programs that you have that you planned for, let's say, for this quarter or next quarter and all of that? Is there a place that they can easily check that?
So typically, I think one thing, because I think one thing I've also tried to do within Akadita, which is a huge lessons learned I learned from last year, was some of privacy. So I think what I've tried to do is, once you join the community, you get access to all that information. You get access to what's coming up, be it our newsletter. It will tell you what's going on in January, February, in Q1, Q2. Just because I don't share, honestly, I've not even shared the Zoom links to any of our meetings. I always just put the time, just because of privacy issues. And just because of things like Zoom bombing, Google bombing, I try to keep it pretty private. So once people join into the community, they have access to all the wealth of knowledge. But on our website, you typically just see a highlight of maybe what we've done or what we offer. But once you get in, you see the wealth of knowledge we have. You see, you get emails about the sessions that are upcoming. And yeah, so just join, apply, and you get all your knowledge that you
Good,
need.
good. I think to round up this, one thing I don't think we talked about is that, or maybe we did, is this free or
Oh, it's free, all free. Africans in
awesome?
Data is free at this point. Like it's completely free to join any of our sessions, any of the knowledge sharing sessions. Is free because that's really because it really started as a conversation between two friends. That's
Mm.
where African data started from. It started with me and my other friend that was also in the data science program that is actually in industry. And I was like, oh, let's look for more people. And it's a free program. It's not paid.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. You've really, given us a lot right here, looking at your transition from petroleum and gas engineering to data science, how you were able to merge both during your master's program, which I know it wasn't easy. You got your first job and then you got into visa eventually, and then you looked at your challenges when you were learning, and from there you were able to birth Africans in data, and you are doing this amazing thing, and now you are giving us tips on how we can be successful. I really want to say thank you so much. I invited you and you came.
Of
Thank you
course.
so much. And I
Thank you
hope
so
you
much.
viewers that you have learned one thing or the other. All right, guys, if you are new on this channel, consider subscribing to this channel and make sure you click on that bell to be notified whenever we release any of our videos. And we are going to be doing this often now. We're going to be bringing data experts, career coach, and all of that. That are going to be, talking to us how we can get to the next level, how we can get promo at work, and basically things that would advance our career in all ramifications. We're going to be doing that more, right? So that we are not only doing pipelining and SQL, Python. We also want to advance our career. All right, again, guys, if you are new right here, so subscribe right now. Click on that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, okay, to be notified whenever we release our videos. And also make sure you click that like button right now. Click that
Yeah.
like button and make sure you comment on this video to motivate us to do more for you guys. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.